This recording is going to just work through the steps for the odd numbered problems on the core practice sheet. So if you're stuck on one, you should look at this. If you want to see all the steps worked out on some additional examples, you can look at this. But it is going to follow through those odd problems on the core practice sheet. Okay, we're supposed to solve with elimination, so here's what I'm doing. First going to see, are my equations in standard form? They are. Do I have a set of opposites? Not yet. Now, when you are then finding your set of opposites, you have choices. I think the easiest is if I only have to multiply once. So I'm going to check and see, is there an easy way to multiply a 4 and make it a 10? Not with whole numbers. Is there an easy way to multiply a -1 and make it a +6? There is. I can just multiply by -6. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Take the top equation and multiply by -6 on both sides of the equal sign. So then what I'll have is -6 times 4x, that's -24x. -6 times -y is +6y. So this is me creating that set of opposites. -6 times -1 is just 6. And we didn't change the bottom equation at all. Now at this point, you know you've done well if you see a set of opposites occurring. So we're going to be eliminating our y's by adding these equations together. -24 plus -10 is -34. Those go to 0. That's the whole point. And 6 plus -6 is also 0. Divide by -34. 0 divided by any number is just 0, so x is 0. Once you have that, I'm now going to substitute the 0 for an x, and it doesn't matter which of the two equations you use. I think I'll use the bottom one this time. So -10 times the x that I think I have, which is 0, minus 6y equals -6. -10 times 0 is just 0. 0 minus 6y is just -6y. A division by -6. And we have y equals 1. So I think the solution is 0, 1. To check it, make sure you use the original equations, just in case you made a mistake somewhere along the way. So if I put a 0 and a 1 in, that'd be 0 minus 6 is -6. That works. And on the top, it'd be 0 minus 1 is -1. That also works. So we're good. On this one, again, looking for the easiest way. Is there an easy way to multiply -1 and make it a +6? There is. So I can multiply the top equation by -6 again. But you got choices. I'm also noticing that if I multiply the bottom equation by 2, that would give me a +10y on the top and a -10y on the bottom. So choose whichever method you like. I'm going to choose the multiplying by 2 only because it keeps the numbers smaller and a little bit easier to work with. So here we go. -x plus 10y. We didn't change the top equation at all. On the bottom, 2 times -6, that's -12. 2 times -5y, -10y. There's my set of opposites. And then over here is a 16. Let's add them up. -13x's, y's eliminate, is 39. Divide then by the -13. And we end up with an x of -3. Okay, then go now to either of these equations, put the -3 in where the x is, and solve for the y. I think I'll use the top equation this time. So -x, and I think x is -3, plus 10y equals 23. Now the opposite of -3 is just 3. Let's then subtract. So 10y equals 20. And divide. So that we have y equals 2. So my solution then, I think, is -3 for the x and 2 for the y. Let's check it. Opposite of -3 is 3, plus 20 is 23. That works out. Negative 6 times negative 3 is 18. 5 times 2 is 10. 18 minus 10 is 8. Checks out as well. Okay, let's keep checking here. Is there an easy way to multiply negative 5 into negative 9? No. Is there an easy way to multiply a negative 3 into a 10? No. Okay, so this time we're going to have to multiply both equations. That's okay. Let's eliminate the x's. That's probably easier just to stick to what's in front. So if I look at my least common multiple of 5 and 9, it does end up being 45. That means I need to multiply the top equation by 9 and the bottom equation by 5. Now we don't need to deal with any negatives this time because the signs are already opposite. Okay, so 9 times negative 5 is negative 45 x's. 9 times negative 3 is minus 27 y's. On the other side, for negative 14 minus 9, I'm just going to double check myself on the calculator, negative 126. On this bottom one, 5 times 9, 45 x's. That's the whole point. Our x's are going to be what eliminates. 5 times 10 would be a positive 50y. And negative 7 times 5, negative 35. All right, let's add things up. I'm going to make that line again. Okay, make it a little bit better. Okay. X's eliminate. Negative 27 plus 50 is 23 positive because the positive was the bigger one. Negative 126 plus negative 35. How much is that? It's negative 161. Okay, so then let's do a division and a division. So we've got y equals negative 7. Once you've got your y, I'm going to go back to one of these original equations. I think I'll choose the bottom one. Nothing special about it. You could use the top as well. I think my y is the number negative 7. So now let's simplify. Notice I'm using the original equation. So the 9x plus 10y equals negative 7. 9x, this would be minus 70 equals negative 7. Let's then add the 70. So 9x is 63. Divide by the 9. And we get x is 7. So we think our solution is 7 comma negative 7. Let's check it. So this would be negative 35 plus 21. That is negative 14. And by the way, use a calculator to check. Nothing wrong with that. Here, 9 times 7, 63, plus negative 70 would be negative 7. That works out as well. Okay, last one. Easy way to multiply a 6 into an 8? Not really. Okay, we're going to have to multiply both of them here again. Now, as far as what you should be multiplying by, you've got choices. If you don't mind having larger numbers, we're going to focus on eliminating the x's here. Then just multiply the top equation by 8 and the bottom one by negative 6. There you go. It will work. If you want to keep your numbers smaller, you can notice that, hey, the least common multiple of 6 and 8. So if I look at my multiples of 6 and my multiples of 8, they line up at 24. What that means is I can keep my numbers a little smaller if I just multiply the top equation by 4 and then the bottom equation by negative 3. Let's take a look at how that would play out. So 4 times 6 is 24 x's. 4 times 6 again is 24 y's. And 8 times 4 is 32. On the bottom, now we made a negative here because I don't want to create another 24. I want to create a negative 24 to have that set of opposites. So negative 24x minus 24y equals, and 0 times any number is still 0. Okay, x's eliminate. Y's also eliminate, so there's nothing left. And 32 plus 0 is 32. So no variables. this is false, that means this system has no solution. So remember that from the previous lesson. If your variables eliminate and there's a false statement, no solution to the system. If your variables eliminate and it's a true statement, infinitely many solutions to the system.